You know it's there. There's that gnawing thought in the back of your head. Keep saying, is this all life is meant to be? And what do? We push that aside and we're like, no, I can't even entertain that thought because where does that rabbit trail end? For some of us, there's so many pressures in so many different directions, and we don't know where to turn, and we feel like we might even be on the edge of just breaking down and giving up on everything because I just can't be a blank. You fill it in. Parent, leader, business owner, children's pastor, in the ministry, something like that. The blank doesn't matter. What does matter is what we're going to talk about. Or maybe you're one that's sitting there and you're like, I am so close to living the abundant, joy-filled, peace-filled life that God has for me. There's just something. There's one or two things that are in the way that are just keeping me from taking that final step, from stepping into that rest and that abundant life that God has for me, and I don't know what they are. Both different viewpoints all come down to one little thing. For almost all of us, it's our own perspectives and our own definitions of what God has called us to be that get in the way of us ever feeling fulfilled doing it. And that's why I want to invite you to join me in the 21-day reboot. The 21-day reboot is a lot like boot camp for your perspectives. It is not always easy. It's meeting for an hour, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and start it again until we've done all 21 days. Your weekends, there aren't any, but there's things to do. There's things to evaluate. Time with God focused on one certain area that is going to begin to unlock those perspectives that have held you back and open your mind to the life that God really has for you to live. So if you want to join me in this reboot, join today. You gotta sign up today. Space is limited, and I want you to join me and find that peace and that joy that you know you are supposed to be experienced and yet feel so close, or maybe some of you so far away. Either way, we can take the steps needed to step into who God has created you to be and the impact He's created you to make in this reboot. So join today. Do not delay. While we lay by the bay. It's just kind of rhymed and that was awkward, and now I'm off track. So if you want to find out God's definitions of who He wants you to be, to actually be able to define that and say, you know, this is what God's called me to do and to create and to be in this world, which eliminates a whole lot of things that you may have been saying yes to that are outside of that plan. There's so many great ideas, good ideas, and needs in this world right now. For some of us, it's really easy to say yes to all of them. Yes, you need help over there. Yes, I can figure out a solution for that. Yes, I'm available to work on that. And then you have the people that come up to you and are like, hey, I know you're a little bit busy, but could you fill in the blank? And what do? We say, yep, I'll find a way. I'll make it happen. I see the need. I fill a need. That's what I do. And now there's times when we do that where we jump in and take things on as good Christians that not only bump us outside of God's perfect plan for our life, but also bump somebody else from being able to fulfill God's perfect plan for their life because we've taken it on. You don't need to pressure yourself to do this. I've got this. It's a lie. It's a trap. It gets you outside of that plan. And because that availability, that space is now being filled by you, that somebody else is supposed to be filling, now they can't do it. You're in the way. You're in the way of your own growth, of your own peace, of your own joy, of your own ability to rest in God, knowing who He's created you to be and knowing what He's called you to do and being okay with that. Doesn't that? It almost sounds too fantastic to believe, too amazing to actually step into. Could this even be a reality in the American church for a Christian in this culture? Yes. Actually, it has to be. In order for God to be represented well by His kids in this world, we have to live a life that's different than those around us. So continuing to be overwhelmed and defining our own life by our busyness and our overwhelmedness and by our breakdowns or our almost theirs but not quite enough, what else do I need to add ons? We're defining our life and pursuing Christianity with the same tools and measures of success that this world is using. We're bound to fail. We're bound to feel not enough. We're bound to feel like we'll never get there. We'll never achieve there. We might as well give up. It's a tool of the enemy to keep us trapped from ever representing God well. I mean, think of the impact, not just for yourself, but for those closest around you. To see you finally step into who God's created you to be, talk about the celebration for them to see you actually joyful and at peace and not stressed out and not overwhelmed and having the team that you need and being able to do what God has called you to do. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. That's why you need to join me in the 21-day reboot right there. Is so that you can get to the place where not just for you, but for those closest to you, they can see you step into real Christianity, real abundant living. And that's not just going to affect you. It's not just going to affect those closest to you. It's going to affect every area of your life. As a parent, as a leader, in your workplace, at your church, everywhere you go, you are going to bring that peace, that joy, that rest into those situations. This could change everything. This could change everything. And it starts with getting our perspectives right, defining the life that God has for us correctly, so that we know how to step into that. And yes, it's going to be different for every one of us. God's plan for your life is totally different than God's plan for my life. And yet there are some resounding, recurring themes in the Word that if we can all take these steps and connect with God, specifically looking for Him to answer these things, the Bible promises that He'll show us mysteries, that He'll teach us things that we don't know. Isn't it time that we know the things that we feel like we should know, but don't yet? Join me. Reboot.rootbible.com. It is going to be like boot camp for your perspectives that allows you to step into the freedom that God has designed you to live in every day of your life. So why wait? Wouldn't 3 weeks of a bunch of effort be worth it to actually finally step into the peace and the joy, the fulfillment, the security, and the clarity to know who God has created you to be and the impact He wants you to have? It's so worth it. It is so worth it. Enroll today.